Wow. Hello guys, I'm in Killarney Provincial Park, just leaving the George Lake parking lot. I've did the self-registration and ended up talking to our park staff about the lake conditions, and I'm going to stay off the lake. I wasn't planning to go on the lake anyhow. Actually, I promised Anita I would stay off the lake. It's just not, I don't think the conditions are great for ice. It's been warm, my hat's falling over my face here. Anyhow, I'm just going to do a simple trip, and I'm going to stay on the north shore, on the ridge actually, of George Lake. So I'm not going to go very far, but there's a little bit of hiking to do. There's rolling hills before I get there. So I've got trusty snowshoes here, and yeah, we're going right into the bush. Other people are here taking advantage of New Year's Day at Killarney, so that's good to know. And the conditions are actually really mild. I think it's only like -1, and if you look here, it's pretty nice. These are the parking lots where normally you'd see tons of vehicles. There's only probably about a dozen vehicles in the George Lake parking lot, and there's a bunch of day users, so I doubt there's very many people, if any, in the interior. So pretty sure I'll have the place to myself, which is okay. But I can't wait. This is a great way to start off the new year. Normally I would be in the mountains, probably most likely down in New York, but if I can't be there, this would be a close second. So this is great. Okay, I just crossed the bridge, and I've already had to go up a hill, but as you can see, this is kind of the terrain that I'm going to be dealing with. I'm high up, got to get down, and then it goes back up again. So I'm probably going to go over that way because it's a little more gentle, at least a drop off, and I can continue that way. But I imagine, even though it's not a long distance, there's going to be some challenges and obstacles in the way. So I'm going to put my snowshoes on. The snow is not super deep, probably, but I don't know, not even a foot deep. But instead of carrying the snowshoes in my hand, I'm going to put it on my feet. It has those claws too, the crampons, so they'll help give me some purchase, and I'll make my way up. Wow. Beautiful. It's gonna take some time. Notice how it drops off like crazy. I might have to go far back, but I'm trying to get to that ridge over there. This might take a little bit of work, but it's beautiful. You know, honestly, I don't even care where I end up. So nice to be out. I'll do my best to get to the ridge, and if I don't, I'll get there tomorrow. It just feels so good to be out. So I decided to turn in and hit the Killarney Sloa Trail. As you can see, it's been beaten down and it's easier to follow. The shoreline is just too many hills and drop-offs. It would just take forever. So I'm going to go this way until I get to the North Shore, and I'll just cut across along the shore. So this should make some easier going. It's good to see that there's a lot of people out here on the trail. Okay, you can get a view of the north shore of George Lake. You can see the ridge just rise up. There's a lake there. Looks like there's some either open water, but you can see it just rise up right above there. But the trail continues this way. Sorry. I'll continue this way and try to make my way up on the ridge over there. Beautiful. It's taking a little to get used to with my shaved head, and in fact I was pretty hot, but my ears were cold, so that's why I put the buffer on my ears. And my head is still exposed. Oh man, it's so gorgeous in here. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so we are at the crossing right now. As you can see, it's a little dicey. I'm going to try to do it without getting wet, but as you can see, it's not a bridge or anything. So I don't know if you can see it, but I'm using my watch as a guide. Oh, too much reflections. Based on where I am, this is kind of like the most gentle spot. So I'm going to proceed up that rise and make my way up to the ridge, and then start making my way along the North Shore. All right, I'm out of breath, I'm out of shape. Anyhow, I'm just in the stand of hemlocks here and off the trail. But there are tons of tracks here. They just go every which way. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they even bedded down somewhere here. But just as I got into the stand here, tracks everywhere. But I'm gonna keep my way, making my way right up. Whew. First hiking trip of the season, and it's giving me a good workout. So all those days editing and not working out, that's put me out of shape. It's time to get back on the workout regime. Anyhow, let's keep going. Okay, just when I said there'd be a bedding spot. Okay, first of all, look at the poop. Now, they look like rabbit poop, but they're not really round. They're kind of like oval shape. So I'm not sure, but if you look over here, here's a bedding spot. Something's laid down. You can tell it melted the snow and right down to the leaves. And that's not a rabbit. That's got to be a small deer. There's lots of even little needles that are that have been nibbled off, and all the pieces, small pieces, have fallen to the ground. So look at them all here. And quite frankly, it's probably these ones right up here that have been nibbled away, and a lot of them have fallen down. But yeah, pretty cool. Look, you see the tracks right here. Probably don't like the fact that I'm in their territory. They'll definitely probably smell me when they come here. But this is unnatural. Check this out. Bunch of sticks piled here. So someone's been here. Probably camped here. You can see there's some cut wood right there. So someone's been here. Cool. Okay, let's keep going up. So definitely a deer highway. It came up from the spot that I was mentioning, and well, this one isn't deer, but there's deer here, and you can see it goes right up through that by that tree and goes right up. So I'm gonna follow its tracks. It's cool to know that the deer likes going up these hills too. Probably go to some browsing spots where other animals don't get access to, I would assume. All right, let's follow the deer. Woo-wee! Making some elevation, and look at this. Look at the first view that I'm getting of the area. And if you look way in the distance over there, that is Georgian Bay, and you can tell it's open. Wow, what a view. Can't really see George Lake. George Lake is over that way. Here, there, that way. So I'll have to get up to the top and start moving back behind me. But yeah, the view here is stunning. If this is stunning, wait till you see when we get to the north end of George Lake. Okay, so I'm getting pretty high. You can see the ridges way over there. And what I've been doing is following this deer, his tracks. It's amazing that it's making its way up and is navigating this terrain really well. And mine just taking a little longer because I'm not going directly. Will be east, but nonetheless, this deer is doing a good job, and I'm just following his tracks. And it's kind of cool. I don't know where it's going to end up, but it is getting higher. And eventually I'll get to the top and there'll be no more elevation to climb. Or maybe. Okay, this is crazy. I followed the deer's track over there, but it ended. I'm like, uh-oh. I came back because it just stopped. I'm like, where did it go? And look, it jumped up here. This is near vertical. Here, let me go back a bit. You can see it jumped up here and then continued. You can see the tracks going up that way. Holy moly. Now, it's my turn to do it. Question is, can I do it? I don't know. We'll see. But the deer definitely did it. Amazing. Wow. I don't know. I'm going to get up here. Yeah, I don't know. Shoot. Nothing to grab. Nope. I'll literally have to crawl up. Put some gloves on. See if I can crawl up. This is not going to be a good way to go up or down. Now that I'm here, there's not many options going that way or this way, so I guess I'm gonna have to go up. foot on. There we go. Maybe here. The view is getting more spectacular. Georgian Bay way out there. And you can see George Lake now. All the way over there. That's where I started, way back over there. Actually, sorry, somewhere over there. So I'm heading over that way. And you can see the ridge kind of goes up there. So at least it doesn't look as bad as this part. But I made it, and so did the deer. I've just entered like a plateau, and it's a little more forested and protected. But I was just thinking to myself that if I follow the deer tracks, I'm gonna end up sleeping with the deer tonight. And just as I was thinking that, look what I saw. They bedded down right here. Same idea. The heat melted the snow right down to the ground. You can see that they also peed here. But yeah, that is crazy. Man, the tracks continue over that way. But I'm gonna make my way over this way now. But I'm just amazed that that they just lay right down on the snow and sleep. And how much insulation and calories that they need to stay warm during the night. You imagine us, if we didn't use a sleeping pad, we'd die. Okay, all right, let's keep going. The thing is tonight, well, so on this trip, I did not bring a tent. I just brought a tarp. I've slept many times under a tarp, and it's not a problem. The only time it's a problem is when the wind is blowing and you can't get any protection from the wind. And so what I want to do tonight is, of course, I don't want to sleep at the edge of a cliff, even though the view would be nice, because there is a little bit of wind up here. What I wanted to do is tuck myself into this little depression in the forest, so I can get protection from the wind, because I'm high up, of course. So I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to continue making my way over east. But this is the kind of terrain that I'm looking for, where I'll find a spot to set up the tarp, and then I'll settle down just in this little nook, so I'll be nice and protected. But I'll at least be close enough so that I can get to the edge and have a nice view of the surrounding area. So really looking forward to it. Now, I can't go that much further because it is getting late in the day. I gotta see what time it is. It's 3:20. So I only got about an hour, a little more than an hour before it starts getting dark. So I'm gonna move probably about another half hour or so, and then I'll look for a spot just like this where I can set up camp. They did say that it's supposed to snow about 2 to 4 centimeters, so it's not a lot, but I certainly want to get protected underneath underneath the tarp, and as well as away from the wind. So now you can get a clear view of George Lake right there. There's the channel, and there's the main body right there, and there's a nice big ridge right up there, preceded by a pretty deep valley here. I'll probably settle down in the valley down there, unless I can get up to the top and then nook in down off the ridge top there. That would be nice, but let's see how it goes. It could be pretty gnarly. Check this out. This might pose a little bit of a problem to get across on the opposite ridge, but check the view out. Whoa, wow, there's George Lake. Woo! Look at that. That is stunning. Wow. So as you can see, it drops off literally over the edge. I'd have to make my way over there to find a way to cross over. Wow, that's stunning. Well, I don't know, I might stay here. The view here is beautiful enough as it is, and time-wise, I'm gonna probably get stuck down in the valley by the time it gets too late, which is fine. I gotta camp down there, but I wouldn't mind camping here so that I have a view. This is kind of what I wanted. I wanted to be able to see an expansive view like this. So what I think I'm gonna do, as you can see, it's heavily forested over there. There's dips and rises in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a spot where I can set up the tarp. It should be nicely protected from the wind and have a nice campfire to warm up around. So let's do that. Let's find some place to make camp and get settled down. I think I found a spot. If you look here, it's nice and flat. It's underneath some boughs of the trees, hemlocks. I've got enough trees here to guy out and set up the tarp. And just over a couple rises, you could see George Lake just beyond there. So this is perfect. I'll be able to get nice and cozy here and still get out and get a nice view tonight. All right, so I'll start getting the snow tamped down and getting camp set up. I just cleared the area of all the branches so I won't get, well, not all of them, but I just don't want to get branches in my eye in the middle of the night. But just one little tip. The winter time and the snow is great for a lot of things, but snow is still water. It's just frozen water. And quite often if you're sitting in it or you're doing things or putting stuff down, it could eventually melt and get wet. So one of the things that I do is when I clear an area to camp in, one of the things I like to do is when I have to cut some limbs away, or else if I'm getting firewood that's in the vicinity of where I'm going to camp, I always leave little bits sticking out, inch, 2 inches, doesn't matter. And these are areas where I will hang things like my saw so that I won't lose it, especially because if it snows a lot, and let's say you get hunkered down and it snows like a foot or whatever, you have anything like a shovel or like a small thing like a saw down on the ground, you're going to lose it and you'll never recover it. So what I'll do is I'll even hang my pack here tonight so that it'll be off the ground, especially because the temperature right now, like I said, it's like -1, so it's barely freezing temps. It'll go down to I think -5 or 6, which will be colder, but again tomorrow it's just going to be a little below freezing, and so if there's anything that's slightly warm, it will immediately get wet. Hang your stuff so that you don't lose it and you'll keep it dry. Well, it's getting to be that time, supper time. Still don't have a big appetite, but probably should get eating. It is probably, I think, about 6 o'clock, if not quarter after 6. Just threw in some good hardwood, so it should burn for a bit. Every time I saw wood, they get warm or hot. It's got to cool down for a bit. But whew, oh, I can feel the heat coming off my head. It's amazing. I know this has nothing to do with being outdoors, but in a way, I shaved my head this morning. So the background story with this shaved head is because of this COVID, he can't go to a barber. So I've had Anita, my wife, cut my hair, and this is now the 3rd time. Well, usually after repeated times of cutting or doing anything, you tend to get a little bit better. Well, it wasn't better this time. The 3rd time wasn't a charm. There was a lot of mess ups, and it was short, and there really wasn't much more you could do with it. And for the longest time, I always kind of wondered what it would be like to be bald. And I mean, also thinking about as I'm getting older, because my dad's dad and my mom's dad, they were bald as they got on in age. So there was a good chance that I would also have some balding pattern at some point in my life, like now. I mean, I'm not getting bald now, but I am certainly starting to thin. So anyhow, the thing is, I was wanting to see what it would be like to be bald, because I didn't really want anything to do with a comb over or anything like that. So I thought this would be a great opportunity, because I couldn't really fix my hair. I thought, why don't I just shave it all off? And here's the result. So this morning, Anita cut it a few days ago, so I was kind of humming and hawing. She didn't like the fact that I was going to cut it all off, but I thought this, if there was any opportunity, it'd be now. So I took my little clipper and cut it to the lowest level, and then I took that same clipper without the guard and cut it straight to the skin. And then from there, I took a razor blade, and I was in the shower and used what do you call, shaving cream, and then slowly use that to shave the little bit of hair that was remaining on my head. And it took some time, because it was my first time. I did have some nicks and I did bleed a bit, but felt pretty smooth. And let me tell you, that was this morning at probably, I think, 7 o'clock this morning. And now it's not that smooth anymore. I could already feel the hairs coming up on the scalp, and when I put a toque on, you could feel like it grabs it. And I can't believe it's already grown that much, so I can only imagine what tomorrow morning is going to be like. But it does not feel as smooth as it did this morning. Off topic, sorry. Anyhow, so what was I talking about? Supper. So I've got my white gas stove, and so for supper I'm going to have, it's another castaway meal that we didn't eat this summer or fall or whatever the season. This is samosa, dehydrated samosa that Anita had made, and we never got around to trying it on a trip. And we tried it at home when she made it, but she also wanted to test it, dehydrate it, but we just never got around having it. As you can see, it's a big bag, and so this is going to be split into 2 meals, so I'm going to have 2 suppers, the same meal, no big deal. I've got a naan, so I'll eat it with 1 naan, since I've got 2 here. And I'll try to toast it a little bit by the fire, but we'll see. Anyhow, so I'll get water boiled up, and I'll get the samosa going, and that'll be my supper. But man, what a beautiful night. I mean, the temperature is not cold. It's quiet up here. I got a nice fire. Man, couldn't ask for anything more. So like I said, I've got it propped up on 2 logs. I've got this platform. It helps to keep it from melting as fast. But now that I've got this wood, I figure it's going to make it even better. Oops, let's flatten it a bit. And pound it down a bit. There, that's a lot more stable. Okay, so I've already pumped it. So just gonna prime it. There we go. Okay, here's supper. It's all done. As you can see, it's samosa. Now, samosa is not usually eaten like this. Usually this is the stuffing that's inside like a pastry, and it's deep fried. And it's usually kind of like in a triangle shape. And it's pretty good. And Anita and I enjoy it very much. Because we want to eat it on a trip, of course we couldn't put it in this casing and deep fry it. So this is how we're gonna have it. Toasted by Nan. Did a pretty good job. It's still pretty warm. And so I'm going to eat it with samosa. And this is the first time trying it. So let's see how it goes. It's still warm. Let's see. Yeah, good. Wow. This is a keeper. Anita is really eager to hear how this turned out. I'm going to give 2 thumbs up. Wow. With supper complete and dishes done, I then changed out of my boot. Then I took some time to dry my damp sock and feet around the campfire before turning in. I don't always have this luxury with a campfire, but when I do, I certainly take advantage of it, as it always feels great. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock and it's time to go to bed. So it was a great day overall, and tomorrow I hope to do some exploring. Alright guys, so see you tomorrow morning. Good night from the north shore of George Lake. Okay, so I am heading out for the day to explore a little bit more of the North Shore, and this is so cool. So there is my tarp, and actually look, there's actually a pink or orange flagging tape there. I don't know why, but more than anything, there's tracks here, and look, something bedded right down here. Kicked off all the snow here, and literally it's like, what, 100 feet from my tarp. Now, I don't think this was last night. It's just based on the snow. It's a little hard, so I'm sure it was probably a couple days before, but that's pretty cool. You can see the tracks continue up that way. Okay, so see that big ridge over there? There's a deep, deep valley, and I have to go back behind there to get around it. So I'm going to go up and see what's up there and see if I can kind of circle it from the backside.
I immediately started climbing up in elevation and took every opportunity to turn around when there was a clear view behind me.
Wow. Woo!
And surprisingly, the views did get better. I believe there is a natural inclination for some humans to want to go to high places, whether it is for the view, to hunt, or just feel closer to the heavens. Whatever the case is, it is definitely in my bones.
Okay, there are these tracks. They kind of look like a bird just because it's splayed out. Now this is the second time I saw droppings, and it's very yellow. But obviously they dug a spot to go poop. But yeah, I'm not sure what kind of bird it is. They scratched here again, but no poop here. But there are tracks everywhere. Seeing that I'm in an area where there's very little human traffic, I guess they thrive here. Well, until people like me come here. But it's pretty neat. Okay, I'm running into a little bit of a dilemma. I've been flanking that huge ridge over there, and I've been following this one, but as you can see, it just drops over the edge here. And I'm trying to get over there, but I might have to go down into this deep valley. So I don't know if it's worth it to go down and go back up, because this is pretty sheer on this side. I'd have to go probably on the back side of this, or the option is to go down into the valley and try to make my way up on that side. So I'm going to keep going down and see what I find down there, and that's probably going to determine my direction of travel. It's absolutely stunning, but it's certainly the travel is going to be difficult. Today I did something a little different. I did not wear snowshoes. The snowshoes were a little bit more of a hindrance yesterday, just because of all the rocks, and the snow depth is, I mean, it's fairly deep in places, but other places it's not. And so I found that I could travel or maneuver a lot better with my boots. I also have micro spikes, so in case it gets a little sketchy, I can always slip those on. But I find the travel like this is a little bit better. Okay, so let's head on down and let's see what we're gonna find. Okay, so as expected, it does drop right off. As you can see, it's a pretty deep valley, and there's no way I can get down there. Well, there is ways, but probably not the safest way. So this looks like a little bit more gentle. I might be able to make it down that way and then make my way up that ridge. And if I can, I'll try to get up to the top there and follow the top and see what I can see when I'm up there. Because I think there is more valleys beyond that. but seeing that I have the time, might as well do it. Okay, I'm on the other side of the ridge, but as you can see the steeply pitched slope, there's a lot of slick rock there. There's a couple places that I went up, and right there, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the slide mark. I got up that far and then slid all the way down. So it's proving to be pretty difficult. So what I'm looking for is this, something like this. This is like a narrow, I don't even know what to call it. It's just maybe a runoff, and there might be more rocks, rugged rocks that I could get purchase on, and I'm gonna make my way up this way. That way, it gets steeper over on that side. So this might be my only option, but this one looks a little bit more promising. It's the challenges of going up slopes, and this is not technically a mountain, but it still has some pretty sheer slopes. So in the wintertime, it certainly makes it hard to scramble up, especially when you got ice, water, and snow. It is hot, especially when you're going uphill, but I made it. If you look over there, that is the ridge that I came down off of. And then I went across and went down this way. But if you look over there, look way beyond, you can see Georgian Bay. You can see all that water. It's beautiful. And over there would be Philip Edward Island. Oh, the sun is out. It feels so good to get some rays. So I'm going to keep making my way up to the top there and try to make my way over this way. I don't know how far I'm going to get today, just because this is taking a lot longer than I thought. But it's just because I got to avoid this huge deep valley, and to get around here it's going to take a little bit more work than I expected. Okay, oh boy, this one is this extreme drop off. I ain't going down that way. I have to continue this way to see if there's any viability of getting through this valley. I mean, if it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. It's just an attempt to try to get to the other side, but I mean, I'm looking at that side, and there's a gradual slope up this way. So if I can get down there, that might be a better option to go up next time, and then coming all the way this way and all around. But just because it looks decent doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be decent. But yeah, I gotta go over there and see if there's an option to get over on that side. Wow, nice view though. I'm trying to skirt this big drop off here, and just come across a creek. You can hear the water, you can see all the icicles there, but yeah, it just drops right down. So my problem is it's still pretty sheer over there, so I don't know if I have to go up to get around, because getting down here is going to be a little difficult, and the last thing I want to do is tumble down. Now I'll go back up and see if I can find something.
Going further back, I was happy to find a way to continue along this ridge.
Made my way further across, closer to that ridge, but still not there. But as you can see, I'm moving further and away from that ridge. Look at the quartzite. This one is really red. It's beautiful. And the other thing is, as much as it seems like I'm doing this crazy little trek, so I'm not the only one. See the tracks here. I'm pretty certain that this is probably a lynx or a bobcat. Just by the pad. Usually with dogs you see, or wolves or coyotes, you see their claws, but this one you just see this round pad. Anyhow, there's more markings in the snow over there. But anyhow, let's keep going and see. Ah, what a view. See the pads right there? Wow. This is a crazy view. Oh. I wonder what's up at the top there. Let's keep going. Now what? Oh, brother. More problems. So I can go down and try to make my way up around there. Let's see. I'm running out of time. It's getting close to 2:30, and once it hits, sorry, 1:30, not 2:30. Once it hits 2, I'll probably head down, back, just like a mountain. Getting to the summit is only halfway there, so I still got to get back before it gets dark because I don't have my headlamp. I know you're probably thinking, why didn't I bring it? Well, I wasn't planning to stay out late, so yeah, if I don't get there pretty soon, then I'll probably head back. Still looks like it's quite a ways away, but the good thing is I have my tracks to follow, so that's easy enough. Okay. So I just came off that little hump and I was going to cross this to continue up on that side, but I was very suspicious of this, and I stepped here and I heard a crack and there's water, so I don't think I'm going to take my chances walking across this and soaking my boot. So I'll either turn wide and see if I can get across on the other side. If it's, hopefully this is just like a contained wet area. Close. I made it just in time too. It's just 2 o'clock now, just past, and it's time for me to go back. So I'm just having a little snack, but I didn't get as far as I wanted. I really wanted to get up there, but at least I was able to find my way over here. As you can see, there's still some major physical obstacles that I have to overcome to get over there. But anyhow, as you can see, that peak is where I started from, actually below there. So I had to come through all these peaks and valleys to get here. It's a little bit hairy at times, but totally worth the view here.
Before leaving, I made sure to spend some time taking in this incredible scene. The effort paid off, and I couldn't be happier where I ended my trek.
So just taking a little bit of a breather just to dry off a bit. I don't want to get too wet, but there's the ridge that I'm heading to. So I've got to drop down into this valley and go up. So it's not going to be that much longer. You can see the opposite ridge on that side. But what I want to show you is there's a sun, but there's this huge line of dark clouds behind it. And in probably a few minutes, that sun's going to be blocked out. It's going to be a lot darker. So it's probably a good thing that I am almost back at camp. I checked the weather forecast. There wasn't anything mentioned in the forecast that was concerning. It did say it was going to get a little colder, but and the chance of precipitation was pretty much nil. So that could just be a cloud cover. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty ominous. If you look at it, it doesn't look inviting.
On my way back, I didn't always follow my tracks, as they weren't always the most direct route. This was due to searching for ways to bypass obstacles earlier in the day. However, as you can see, shorter doesn't necessarily mean easier.
Just made it back to camp, 4 o'clock. Just made it in time. It's good, still light out, so I'll get the fire going, and should still have enough time to get things sorted out before it gets dark. But everything looks pretty much undisturbed. I was wondering about my food. It was hanging right here. If something like a squirrel or something like that would get it, but it's okay. And here's my tarp. I just gotta fix it up. But I'm good to go now that I'm back at camp. Hot chocolate, got settled down, changed out of my boots and put on my booties. I'm gonna get some supper ready, but in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm gonna enjoy my hot chocolate and the fire. Alright, so that's it for me for tonight. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning, guys. It is just after 6 o'clock. And I just got up to go take a pee, and I was just thinking of going back to bed, but I don't feel like it. It's still dark, but it's no big deal. I'll get a fire started and slowly get packed up. I mean, I'm heading out today. I can still keep myself a little bit busy until it gets light out, and it's not super cold. This trip has been really nice in the sense that it hasn't been frigid and it hasn't been snowing, so I'm thankful for that. But anyhow, so I think we'll slowly get up and get the day started. Toque. This is hilarious. My hair is growing out and it's like Velcro, and putting on a toque is like so difficult now. Ugh. Sticks to my head. Alright, gotta get the coat on. There we go. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. I've packed up camp. As you can see, this is where the tarp was. I tried to clean the fire pit as best as I could, but nonetheless, if you know about winter camping, the place looks like a disaster when you're done. The good thing is when you get the first snowfall, it'll clean it all up and it'll make it all look nice and clean. But today's an overcast day. It's not cold at all. I'm almost ashamed to call this a winter trip because it's not very cold. I've had canoe trips where it was colder, but nonetheless, it was still a lot of fun. It's still winter and I had a great time here.
Before I left, I took a moment at this incredible spot overlooking George Lake, where I got to spend the past 3 days bringing in the new year.
Nice vantage point here. Just come up to the top here. Look at the view. Just a multitude of rolling hills and deep valleys. And if you look way beyond, you got Georgian Bay totally open. Stunning. Oops. Hello guys, I'm back at the park office. A lot less cars, expected being a Sunday. But yeah, that's a wrap for me. It was a great little trip. Maybe I should stop walking. It's probably all the clanking from the snowshoes. But yeah, it ended up being a great trip. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to more winter adventures this season, so stay tuned and we'll see you on the next one. Hold on, I've got nothing on my head. Hold on. TPP out.